everyone. Thanks for joining us here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Molly O'Brien, and Taylor Politis joins us here today in studio. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so excited you're here today. So you are the author of The Rebel Wife.
That's right.
You're a Providence-based author.
Yes.
And you're here today to talk to us about this really neat initiative, a writing competition, Write Rhode Island. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. You're also part of the group Goat Hill. And so we're going to talk a little bit about your collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk to me just a little bit about what Write Rhode Island is.
Sure thing. Write Rhode Island is a short fiction competition for 7th through 12th graders based here in Rhode Island, so a statewide short fiction competition. This is our second year, so last year was our first year, and it is a partnership between Goat Hill, which is a group I am a member of, along with Ann Hood and Hester Kaplan, two other local writers, and School One, private arts high school on Providence's east side. And it was Diana Champa, the program developer there at School One, who approached us and said, what do you think about partnering to create a short fiction competition for young people? And we immediately loved the idea. An amazing opportunity to really build writing, reading, the culture of writing, to reach out to young people across the state and to create this great opportunity for them to write stories, learn to write stories, and to sort of experience the life of a writer as well. Part of the prizes that the winners get, the top 3 winners last year got cash awards. We also do a short fiction anthology that the 3 top winners, along with 14 other notable stories are included in here, so these young people get to see their work in print. And we offer opportunities from the Newport Art Museum. Last weekend we were at the Ocean State Writing Conference, giving them a platform to read. Also the Barnes & Noble Teen Week on Bald Hill Road. So some great opportunities across the state for these young people to read their work to an audience.
Which I think is so cool because there's so many layers of this.
Yeah.
One, you're giving young adults a chance to build their talents, their skills, and then you're giving them an opportunity to be published.
Yes.
So how huge is that? And
Yeah.
then you're giving them a chance to improve their public speaking, their reading, confidence building. There's so
Totally.
many aspects of this that are phenomenal on so many levels.
Yes.
So let's talk about how Goat Hill, you and fellow authors got involved in this, and why this partnership is important for not only students, but you don't have to mentor kids. You
Right.
don't have to talk
Right.
to kids.
Yeah.
So what do you get out of it versus what the kids get out of it?
I'm a writer. It is a gift for me to write and to find an audience through publishing. And part of what all writers do is find their audience. We are on the road. We're going to events. We're reading. We're doing speaking. So all of that is a privilege, I guess, in terms of being able to live the writer's life. And I think Ann Hood and Hester Kaplan, who are the two other partners in Goat Hill, would agree. They have had great success, great recognition, and we all understand the power of writing in terms of being able to tell our stories, the incredible confidence and experience of empathy we get, the way to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and learn another life in a certain sense, experience another life, and that we get through both reading and writing. So when we started Goat Hill a few years ago, we wanted to offer workshops to professional people who wanted to really develop their writing skills in a professional way, and also literary events. So talks with other writers, talks with publishers, with editors. We've done all sorts of workshop days, meetings with agents. So all sorts of ways to both cultivate adult writing community here in Rhode Island and to connect that community with a larger professional national network. So when School One came to us with this opportunity, we had partnered with them for some events like Workshop Palooza, this day of workshops. And so we worked great together, and it was a natural fit to sort of look for other ways to partner. And so to take that idea of the gift that it is for all of us to live as writers, and the kind of sort of personal development you get, the emotional development you get from contemplating story, from telling a story, from sharing that with other people. And so it is yet another privilege, another layer of privilege to be able to have this partnership happen and to go across the state and meet young writers, to encourage them to see the power of storytelling in the way it changes their lives, the way they see themselves in relation to others. And I'll tell you quickly, one thing that we did with the winners last year is we went to their high school classrooms. So it was a total surprise. We arranged with the teachers that we would come and sort of with balloons and the award to surprise these kids
my gosh,
in the
that's so
classroom
neat.
and give them the award. So I can't tell you what an incredible joy it was to see the thrill and excitement to
You're
be
like, "What's
acknowledged.
going on?"
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Total surprise, shocked, and just that fun and enthusiasm and, again, sense of confidence and recognition for that kind of work. I think that it's so important to both encourage creative writing, but to show that acknowledgement, to recognize the work that people or young people are doing, to motivate them to keep doing it. Because again, I think the power of sort of learning to understand yourself, learning to express and understand your emotions, to develop you into a stronger, more confident, more connected human being. And so all those reasons are why we think it's important to do this.
So powerful. So powerful. So the opportunity is for 7th through 12th graders.
That's right.
And so this is open for anyone in the state,
Truly,
right?
anyone, any young person in the state, you don't have to be enrolled in a high school, you can be homeschooled, you have to just be equivalent of 7th through 12th grades and a resident of the state. Okay. So we have, all of the submissions are done online. You know, we encourage kids to sort of submit through the website on their home computers. If you don't have access to a computer at home, local libraries are sort of have the information and are able to help kids submit their stories at the libraries. We've also organized workshops. Last year we had about 25 workshops in libraries and schools across the state.
Neat.
This year, almost 40 have been organized so far. So we had over 100 submissions last year. That has really built a foundation for awareness and motivation and excitement around the program. So we're really looking forward this year to a lot more great stories and a lot of exciting sort of opportunities to share that work with everybody.
And what's so cool about this is that through workshops, you're giving students an opportunity to through the competition, you're giving students to have this creative outlet to work on the writing skills. But then through the workshops, it's an opportunity to hone in on those skills, to build on those skills, and then network with professionals such as yourself.
That's right.
Such as yourself. So what an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So I'll tell you about one of the students who was a notable story, Andrew at Cherahoe High School, and he submitted a great story, a sort of gothic science fiction vampire story. We just loved the sort of the atmosphere that he created, and he has been to almost every reading opportunity. He and his family have come to almost every reading opportunity that we've had, which is wonderful to see him come out. And he this year too is the head of the creative writing club at Cherahoe called Inkstigators. So this great, a wonderful young writer who's so enthusiastic, and to see the connection, the networking that happens both in his school. I think Cherahoe is a great school, and Rebecca, the teacher there, has done an incredible job of cultivating that writing community. But then to see that get networked through the state, meeting other young writers, feeling motivated, feeling acknowledged that this is worth doing is just an incredible, empowering, I think, opportunity for these young kids. So it's great to do it.
That's so encouraging. And how do you see this? Because not everybody can be a professional writer.
Right.
That's right. That's the truth.
Right.
Not everyone is going to be able to take this skill and transfer it into a career. But writing is very important in all levels.
Right.
Just being able to have this communication. So for people who don't take it to the level of professional writing, how can people use this skill in everyday life? Something like this can be used on all aspects, I would think.
I agree. I think that not everyone is going to be a published author. Many people have that ambition, but the act of writing, of telling a story or telling your story, has much greater power and much greater importance than the act of sort of getting it into the marketplace. And so that's why I think cultivating an appreciation sort of in a community, the things that we build sort of importance around, people see that and they then begin to pursue it, begin to take an interest in it, begin to think, oh, this is worth doing. We sincerely believe that storytelling, every person, given the opportunity and the dedication to learning to tell their stories, understands themselves better, feels better about their relation to the world, is able to exercise their imagination and create a vision for themselves in the future that they can strive towards. So I think that just the act of conceiving of and working to tell your story, regardless of what happens next, is this incredibly enriching and powerful act. And so that's part of the motivation that we have behind getting out there and encouraging these young kids. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love this. I mean, I think it's so powerful to be able to sit down and be able to write, to envision something and write. And you never, like, I mean, I'm not a young person anymore, so
I don't think that's true.
I hear stories of what happens in high schools and middle schools, I know there's a lot of this.
Yeah, yes,
I just hear through
that's
stories.
Right.
I mean, I'm not there, but I hear there's a lot of this, so I feel like anything that can happen to encourage setting down this and writing is always something good. Now, I'm not saying that this happens with every student, but I know there is a lot of that.
And I think whatever age,
Yeah, right? I mean, so just being able to put down the technology and to be able to explore creative thought process. But that also just sparked something. Has there been any stories about technology or about, because I mean, that's the world that they live in, or social media or that kind of thing, right?
I think, so what's amazing too about the stories we got last year, again, over 100 stories from across the state, and the 17 stories that we selected through a blind reading process, so really just judging based on the quality of the story, we covered the entire state geographically, so a great geographic diversity in the stories, and I think that an amazing diversity in the focal points of the stories. These kids are writing about race. They are writing about social justice. They are writing about the climate change. They are writing about all sorts of issues. They are writing about love and heartbreak and divorced and broken families.
That's great.
So again, the opportunity to find a voice to these feelings, to sort of put it into words, releases that emotion. And I think all of the challenges that we all face, young people particularly in this world of technology and media that can be so overwhelming, so overpowering, again, giving them, encouraging them to kind of address their feelings, address their confusion, address their wants through storytelling is an incredible opportunity, again, to just build a stronger, more confident, more empowered person.
Don't count young people out. They have
right.
voices.
Totally,
They have voices.
100%,
They need to be heard, and they need an outlet to have them be heard.
Yeah,
so this is an
absolutely.
amazing opportunity. So there are several workshops. So the competition, all the entries are due December 10th, right?
December 10th is the deadline. It's an online submission process, and there's more information on either our goathillwriters.com website or on the School One, school-1.org website. On the toolbar, there's a little Write Rhode Island button, and all the rules and details are available there. And we'll be posting the portal to submit in a couple weeks, so there'll be a window, about a 3-week window for people, young people, to submit their stories up until midnight on December 10th. That's the deadline.
That's so great. When it comes to workshops, is there an effort to make sure that there's something happening in every community?
Yes, absolutely. We are.
Because it's tough, you know, like
That's
if you're in 7th grade, you might have to hop the bus to get to the local library.
Right.
You might not have access to get to certain places. So I just want to know if there's an effort to make sure in all communities they're accessible.
Absolutely. We are working very hard. Again, we are trying, we're not necessarily reaching every place, but we want to reach every place. And so we have worked, as I said, last year we had 25 workshops. This year we have almost 40 workshops scheduled throughout the state. And if you're at a school, if you're a teacher at a school, if you're at a library and you want to have a workshop, reach out to us. Reach out to School One, Diana Champa at School One, reach out to Goat Hill Writers, and we will work our hardest to schedule a workshop in your community because we want to reach everybody.
Okay, great. And so who hosts the workshops? Like, what are you going to see? Are you going to see, like, are you showing up? Are you seeing librarians? Are you seeing a mix of everything?
I have done some workshops. We have a teachers training workshop in September at School One. So we invite teachers to come in and get a creative writing curriculum workshop. So that's one way to kind of reach out. And then we do all sorts of things. So we will have workshops in libraries. We will have them in schools. We have a group of professional writers who are going out into these areas and leading these workshops. They're generally an hour to an hour and a half. They address some of the basic ideas about how to tell a good story, how to find your voice, how to think about structure, and then some great, fun, creative writing exercises. And exercise, if you've ever been in a workshop, the most fun is the exercises. So I have a whole sort of suite. I do things with buttons, I do things with little pieces of cloth, I do things with pictures of animals. So again, all sorts of crazy, fun ways to cultivate your imagination, just to spark an idea and to begin to think about a character and what their story might be.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about this, Write Rhode Island. So if you are a young adult, but grades 7 through 12,
Yes.
those are the grades that you are in. You can qualify for this, so check it out. Why not,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Exactly. What do you have to lose?
What do
Nothing.
you have to
It's
lose?
free. Submit that story, and maybe you'll be picked.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not? Before you go, what are you working on?
I'm working on a novel. I was thrilled to publish The Rebel Wife a few years ago with Simon & Schuster, a gothic historical novel set in Alabama, which is where I grew up. And so I'm working on a second Civil War novel set in Alabama, and a story that addresses all these issues that, to me, and I think everyone are really present today, the legacy of racism and slavery and the world that was, and maybe sort of the sad ways that has not changed, and also the ways that we can contemplate change. So thank you for asking.
Cool. So when do you think?
Well, we keep our fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yeah. Sooner rather than later, we hope.
Cool. So when that happens,
Yeah.
hopefully you'll come
I
back
would love
and
to.
talk to
I would
us
love
about
to,
it,
yeah.
show it off, send me a copy so I can
will,
read it,
100%.
and then get you to sign that. And then let us know how this goes. Maybe we can get whoever wins the competition, or
We would love that.
someone, so we can get some readings
Yes.
here. That'd be really cool
That
to
would be
see
awesome.
this come
We would love that.
around full circle once
Awesome.
again.
Thank you, Molly.
Taylor, thank you so much
It's
for
been a
joining us
pleasure.
here today. This was super fun chatting with you. Everyone, please hang tight as we get set up for our next guest here on Go Local Live.